Welcome to Paul's World of Movies, and today we're looking at a current film in the movies called MARTY Supreme. Now it's a little bit different, a different subtopic matter, for you say, from most films. It's a sports film, but this is quite an unusual one. It's directed by, written and produced by Josh Safdie, and it tells the story, a based on reality story of a man named Marty Mauser. It's based on a story of Marty Reisman in the 1950s, who wanted to be a world champion table tennis player. Now, it's set, like I say, set in the 1950s, and in the 1950s in Europe, table tennis, or ping-pong as they call it in America, or it did at the time, was very much a European-based sport. Americans weren't sort of aware of it, and they certainly didn't take it very seriously. It was sort of found in halls and stuff to play around, but it was never taken particularly seriously at this time. But this story, which stars the incredible Timothy Chalamet as Marty Mauser, shows himself to be quite a self-confident person, to say the very least. This man is obsessed with himself, and the self-belief is out of this world. He believes everything that he can do is going to happen, and fair play. He's a young fella, full of all the drive that you usually have as a young man. And whilst we first meet him, he's working in a shoe shop for his family, a family shoe shop. Now we start to get to see an idea of what makes him tick and how he works when it comes to a point where he's ready to collect his wages so that he can fly off to London to try and play into the British Championships. Unfortunately, his uncle has disappeared and has refused to pay him. Seems like it's a bit of a ruse from the family. They don't want him to waste his money on a flight because they just don't understand table tennis. So they are kind of trying to stop him going. So in his desperate attempt to get this money, he actually robs the place. He's entitled to this money, but technically he robs the place. And from then on, he's being chased. In one way or another, he's being chased. But it shows an example of how desperate he is and how determined he is to do what he wants to do. Now, I won't go into too much more detail than that, but it just shows you what he's like. He has himself a girlfriend who, yes, they get very friendly in the back of the shoe shop at one point, and we'll say no more about that. You'll leave that to your imaginations. And then after he's come back when he's been to London to play in the competition, something happens that brings him back home, and from there he spends the next year getting back onto the table tennis bike, shall we say, and trying to achieve the ultimate goal of being the champion. In doing that, there's so many problems and they all revolve around money. In order for him to approve, he needs to buy a ticket to Japan, which is the next World Championship the following year, and so he has to try to arrange this money. And we're talking about, I think it's $1,500, which may not sound a lot of money today, but if you compare in 1952, that's like, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars today. It's heaps of money, and so he's got to really find all this. And he's very much a bit of a slybagger when he's trying to get this money. He's very manipulative, tells lies right, left and centre, and in order to get what he wants, people are not gullible. I don't think gullible is a word, but they just want to help him, but he just takes advantage of that help. And as well as that, poor Marion, the girlfriend, she's pregnant, and he's not really interested. It's going to cause problems for him because she's pregnant, which means she's settling down, having to be a father. He's terrified of all that, so he's trying to avoid that. He's not totally mean, but he's not the nicest person in the world. Now, in this film, so there's a synopsis of the film. What I want to get across with this film is nobody other than Timothy Chalamet would get away with making a table tennis movie where nobody knows any famous table tennis players. It's not like it's Wimbledon or the NFL or anything like that. Table tennis. It's bizarre that someone like him would be in this film, but my God, it's only him, I think, that could pull this off. He's such he's a terrific actor. He actually loses himself in all his parts, and he doesn't seem to be the same person in all his films. He literally hides as the character. He is so good at that. I've seen quite a few of his movies now, and in every one it's like a different person. It's fantastic. A lot of actors, I won't say names, but a lot of actors are just the same person over and over again. Yeah, they might be dressed different, they might be different in a time zone, whatever, but they're the same character. Not with Timothy Chalamet. That's why this film is going to be a big hit, I'm sure. An interesting point, I went and saw it in the movies, and usually in the cinema, I'm, as you would have known if you know my page, quite often I'm the lonely one in there. But the other night when I saw this film, it was, I won't say it's packed, but it was near enough full. Very amazing. I looked around and I couldn't believe it. There was barely a seat. So something's happening with this, and I think it's down to Timothy, so fair play to him. Not just to say it's just about him. The film is very well made. It looks good. It is good. There are a lot of other characters, but it's a Timothy Chalamet show. The supporting cast is great. The story is good. There's action in it. There's all sorts of chaos, as you may or may not expect from a table tennis player, but it revolves around a few key moments. Would I say this is a good film? Absolutely. I would definitely, and I mean definitely, go and see this in the cinema. It's a great fun film. It's a little bit hilarious, a little bit funny, a little bit action, a little bit of tenseness, a little sadness. There's a little bit of everything in there, and it's just different. It's like being in somewhere it's like being somewhere you've never been before. Because who's been near a table tennis tournament, for instance? Who's been, especially in the 1950s? So it's very unusual in that respect, and I loved it. I thought it was really cool, and it's quite long, 149 minutes. In old money, that's 2.5 hours. So so sit comfy and just enjoy it and just let it run. You don't see, it doesn't feel like that long. It feels a lot less than that. So it's a very enjoyable film to watch. It looks amazing. One little point I would make, they used modern 80s music in the soundtrack, which I found a little odd, but it kind of works. It kind of works in this, which surprised me somewhat, but hey, So overall, we have a table tennis film with a great actor who makes it work. It's a very unusual but very entertaining film. Excellent and very enjoyable. One of the best films of the year is January, so can't say that. But it's certainly one of the best I've seen in the last few weeks. So say that. And I've seen a few films already this year. So good. Good on the studio for making such a cool film. Something totally sort of left field, totally unusual. Most sporting films don't have such character-driven stories like this. They usually somebody raises to the top, falls down, finish. Things like the Smashing Machine last year, and other sports movies like that, which don't spring to mind at this stage. So there you go. I would recommend this film. Definitely go see it on the big screen. Don't worry about streaming. It's the sort of film you'd see on the big screen. I like it better than his portrayal of Bob Dylan last year. Not that there was anything wrong with that either. That was a good film too. So if you like Timothy Chalamet, and you probably won't know if you're going to like this film until you see it. So please go along and see it and support this film. Support your local cinema. And as always, I will see you at the movies.